Ukrainian rebels jump-starting this tank atop a World War II monument in southeastern Ukraine seem to symbolize to the world their shortage of weapons. And President Putin told a French interviewer on June 4 that American officials were lying when they accused Russia of sending men and materiel to Ukraine's secessionists.
There are no armed forces, no Russian instructors in southeastern Ukraine, and there never were any. Proof? Why don't they show it?
But last week, videos surfaced on YouTube of 3 modern T-64 tanks clanking through the streets of rebel-controlled Donetsk. Then, NATO released satellite photos indicating that the tanks came from southern Russia as part of a larger weapons convoy that included rocket launchers. Pavel Felgenhauer, a Moscow-based military analyst, says the Kremlin sent the tanks to lift the spirits of rebels squeezed by a Ukrainian army offensive.
These tanks would be a powerful morale booster, and so they were paraded, most likely not for Western consumption, but for local consumption.
Rebel fighters like these are increasingly surrounded by Ukrainian army troops. Rebel militia leader Igor Strelkov has made an urgent appeal for more Russian arms. Other rebel leaders went to Moscow and appealed in person. Sergei Markov, an influential nationalist thinker, warns that Moscow needs Ukraine's Donbass region as a safety buffer between Russia and the West.
Russia can't give up the Donbass because the next blow will be against Russia.
If Russia allows a pro-Western government to survive in Kyiv, there will be security consequences, according to Markov.
In 2.5 years, the NATO-Ukrainian army will invade Russia through Crimea.
Ukraine's new president, Petro Poroshenko, is proposing a unilateral ceasefire. But first, his soldiers are trying to shut off Russian arms shipments by closing Ukraine's 2,000-kilometer land border with Russia. On the other side of the border, Russia is rebuilding its military strength. Felgenhauer says the goal is to give Russia the option of a cross-border offensive in July or August.
And if there's a threat that the rebellion will collapse, Russia may move in force.
Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the day after Russia stopped selling gas to Ukraine, there was an explosion on a buried pipeline that exports gas to Europe. Ukrainian authorities say the blast might have been an act of terrorism, aimed at undermining Ukraine's reputation as a reliable conduit for gas exports. James Brooke, VOA News, Moscow.